I'm so pleased to be with you again. Now and again, I am hearing from some of you who are part of this time of talk every week, or some weeks at any rate, and it's always a pleasure to hear from you. I have been reading through my Bible this year, only portions of it this year, selected portions, but including the entire New Testament in the translation and the commentary, or the notes, of John Wesley. So right now, of course, near the end of the year, I am also near the end of the book of Revelation. Now, I should tell you right off that there is much in the book of Revelation that I don't understand. I'm going to say more than that. I'm going to say I think that most of the book of Revelation is really unknown territory to most folks. I would indeed be skeptical of somebody who was quite sure that they knew what Revelation is all about. It's interesting to me to read these notes that John Wesley wrote 250 years ago as he was reading the book of Revelation, and to see how it appeared to him then, how he was interpreting its prophecies, and how it all looks then to read his comments from 250 years ago when we come to this time in this 21st century. So I start with the recognition that there's much about the book of Revelation that I don't understand. That doesn't bother me a great deal. I perhaps have come to an age where I'm willing to let some things be unknown to me. I want simply to do right by what I do know. And the verse, therefore, that stuck with me this morning as I was reading my Bible was Revelation 14:5. As the writer, John, is telling us what he has just seen, this host of people who are beautiful in God's sight. They are selected ones because of their purity and the wonder of their character. And this sentence especially caught my attention. And in their mouth there was found no guile. And in their mouth there was found no guile. There isn't a lot actually describing what makes these people so perfect. Isn't a great deal said about the qualities of their character, their accomplishments, their achievements, their learning, or their aspirations. But this, the writer tells us, that in their mouth there was found no guile. And it reminds me again of the language of the book of James, in which we're told that if we can control our tongue, we've got the whole game just about won. I see this from 2 points of view. The one that worries me most of the time is what I do with my tongue in its action. That is, the things I say that I ought not to say. I'm troubled by this because I would think that I've reached a point in my life where I know better than to be as stupid as I sometimes am. But the tongue, the good book tells us, is a difficult instrument to control. You read about it way back in the book of Proverbs, in warnings about the use of the tongue, and all the way into the New Testament, in the words of our Lord, and then, of course, in the book of James that has so much to say about it, and then finally, in the passage I've read to you this morning, even in the book of Revelation, a word of praise is spoken about the truly beautiful persons, and this was especially beautiful about them. There was no guile in their tongues, no desire to do harm. So one of my great problems, and I venture for you too, is to be sure that I don't say the wrong thing, that I don't speak what I ought not to speak. But there's another side to it, and that is the times I ought to speak when I remain silent. There are occasions when I would do well to speak out against evil, when I should not allow a statement that's being made about somebody to go unchallenged. Now and again, by our silence, we give approval, just by our silence, to some bad word that is spoken, a word of prejudice, a word of uncertainty, a lie. Sometimes people say, well, I just heard this about so-and-so. I don't know if it's true or not. If we don't know if it's true or not, we'd better not say it. And if somebody starts to say something like that to us, we probably ought to speak up at that point and say, if you don't know whether it's true, I'd rather not hear it. I need all the truth I can get. Uncertainties and falsehoods, I don't need it all. So, if I'm to watch the guile that could be in my tongue, if I'm to be as perfect as the book of Revelation would ask me to be, this I must say to myself: watch the things that I speak that I ought not to speak, and speak sometimes when I remain silent, but when I ought to declare a word for what is good. That's what I wanted to say to you today. Thank you for being here with me.